So let's do this one, John. This is the big one.
All right.
So confused about this because you and I were texting about Beetlejuice yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, Beetlejuice sets box office records. Tim Burton's supernatural dark comedy Beetlejuice is coming out at the high end of expectations at the weekend box office. The sequel to the 1988 classic, pulled in $42 million on Saturday alone, effectively even with its opening day Friday and Wednesday and Thursday preview. As a result, the film's 3-day domestic opening weekend estimates have risen to $110 million, possibly higher, up from the low $90 million range that the studio had been estimating. That's the second best opening ever in September, behind only It, the second highest opening for Burton, the third best for 2024 overall, and its domestic debut has outgrossed the first film's entire $75 million, unadjusted global box office total. The film also debuted internationally with a further $35.4 million for the weekend. No other film managed to crack double digits in ticket sales. Deadpool and Wolverine coming in second with 7.2. Well, I can also show you this. This is the actual thing right here. You got Beetlejuice at 110. You got Deadpool and Wolverine adding another 7.2, John. That takes us to 1.2, almost 1.3 thus far. So if you go back to, what the hell is it? You got some more here. Somewhere you go. Deadpool, Wolverine, Reagan, Alien Romulus. It ends with us, and then Beetlejuice, which is funny because this movie made $110 million opening weekend. Only $35 million. It's definitely not an international movie.
Yeah,
it's just not. But this is a pretty big number. Kind of what we thought. Doesn't break the record.
Yeah,
which we didn't know. We thought it could get close. But the thing that we were talking about was funny is that you can normally judge sometimes when you see like the kind of chatter that's going on in our movie space, right?
Yeah,
like,
totally.
And it's like, okay, well, people are doing reactions to the original. People are doing trailer reactions to these things.
Excited. Yeah.
The only thing that I saw pop for this movie in our space is the first trailer. The second trailer was kind of dud for most people. The people were doing movie reactions to it, did okay. And then even the out of the theater reaction that I did fine.
Yeah.
But it's like, but the movie did amazing. So it's like that. It was the kind of the one time where you're like, no, you can't pay attention to this. You have to pay attention to the stats. It'll tell you kind of which way it's going. And that's not always necessarily true. I mean, man, my Horizon out of the theater reaction did 50,000 views. And I think those are all the people that saw that movie.
Yeah.
So
it might, it might even be less.
Maybe even less. Maybe even less. But either way, so what do you make of these numbers by Beetlejuice doing, and can it sustain?
Yeah, look, I'm no YouTube prognosticator or expert. You know, I'm happy to have a channel that does well enough for me to cover my bills and make some extra money on the side. And so, but when I look at this situation, I thought Beetlejuice was going to be big, and the fact that it made $145 million over the weekend, I thought this doesn't make any sense. And then as I looked at it more, I think it's because this is a film that really appeals to the older audience and to the people who remember that film from 1988, and we're excited to see the sequel. And I think a lot of those people are not on YouTube. So they're not watching these videos and the reactions and all this kind of stuff because they're very much like they're going to have their own experience with the movie. They don't need to watch other people's experience or read other people's reviews or watch other people's reviews because they're already going and they're going to make up their mind. And so I think this is one of those movies that is just a freak of nature in that way, and that there's a lot of money in terms of the box office it made, but the people that went maybe weren't that excited to just watch stuff on YouTube about it and went about their day. And I also think that the film, I know it's gotten some good numbers, but I do think there's a lot of people who aren't going to go back and watch this over and over again. And so I don't think it's going to hold on for a while. So maybe they're like, I saw it. I'm good. I'm rolling on home.
I think the Beetlejuice like hardcore as well, though. I really do.
Yeah, you think they will?
I think they will. I think it'll have a drop, but I don't think it's going to have a massive like, oh, that's a really bad drop. It needs to. Look, this movie is going, and I don't remember. I don't think you said this, and I hope you didn't say this, but there was no world where this made $1 billion. Someone said,
no, I never. Yeah.
No, I think someone asked us, like, there's no world where this can be because, and I think you actually made the point because it just doesn't have a big enough international audience as proven.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think Michael Keaton should be very happy considering how Flash crashed and burned with him coming back as Batman, him coming back to do yet another character from the 1980s that he was iconic in creating. And of course, if Batman was already obviously been on screen, I hope he is happy now with seeing how this turned out, and there's no way they won't consider doing a third one, no matter what Tim Burton says about 30 years and all of that. There is an avenue to explore a third one. And
Yeah,
so
they could for sure. And I will tell you this: as much as I wouldn't have wanted to see this, because I really only I like Batman 1989. I'm not a Batman Returns fan.
What?
I know you love that. I know, but I know you
Yeah.
do. But what I will say is, even though I wouldn't have wanted to see it, if Tim Burton would have been the one to bring back Michael Keaton as Batman, I mean, through the roof numbers that would have had, through the roof.
That's an interesting idea,
right? You can't at this point. You can't. I think you leave it alone because there's just too many Batman things going on. You got the Batman with Robert Pattinson. You got you have the new Batman they're going to bring in. It's just too much. Yeah. It's just too much. And you've already had him come back in the Flash. If you were going to bring him back at one point, had he come back as with Tim Burton, that would have been massive. But it just it just didn't align that way. Mike Joyce, would you want a meta Beetlejuice 3, something like New Nightmare with Beetlejuice?
I don't think we're there yet, but maybe. I mean, because he's been trying to come into the real world, and I think what happens is, I think what they need to do now, because they hinted at it in Beetlejuice. I'm not trying to ruin anything, but and I'm not going to ruin anything. I'm saying that they could work together, Lydia and Beetlejuice, and certainly a lot of people who their first exposure to Beetlejuice is the animated series. They work together all the time in the animated series. So if you're going to do a third one, I think that's the thing, is that something happens in the real world, maybe to Astrid, Jenna Ortega's character. And so she goes and gets, Lydia does, Beetlejuice, and they both work in tandem to go and save, because clearly what's affecting her is someone who is an old enemy of Beetlejuice's. And so kind of you're kind of killing two birds with one stone. So I think that's the route that they should go for sure. I don't know if it's meta or not, but I think they should do that.
I hope that they don't do meta. Yeah. I mean, like, I quickly get Gremlins 2 feelings.
Oh yeah, the new batch.
People love Gremlins 2. Like Mance and Bibiani love it. I love it. I can't stand that movie. I think it's so stupid what they tried to do, and the whole reason behind it, why I hate that stupid movie.
Sounds like you don't like it.
I don't like it.